Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I am once again today joined by Mr. Kari Kallonen, who is the author of a number of books about Finnish uber badass war hero Lauri Törni. And today is the second part of our video discussing this man's history. And today we're actually going to talk about this, frankly, incredibly cool artifact that we have here on the table in front of us, which is Törni's actual Swedish K,
Yes.
which you helped recover from his helicopter crash site in Vietnam.
Just a reminder, we have t-shirts and patches commemorating Lauri Törni / Larry Thorne's Finnish and American exploits. We've got him with his Suomi in the Winter War and his M16 in the Vietnam War. If you're interested, we have t-shirts and patches over in the Varusteleka merchandise shop. Check them out. Remember, the first 100 t-shirt orders will get a patch for free.
Where we left off last time, Törni had moved to Sweden, he was engaged, but needed work and decided to go to the United States to find a better paying job, essentially.
Yes.
How did he get there?
Yeah, well, he wanted to follow these other Finnish officers who had done it before.
Okay.
And but in that time, it was not so easy to get to United States. You might end up in Ellis Island and then you were sent back. So what he could do, he went first to Venezuela. He was working as a sailor in a boat, so he paid his way that way.
Okay.
So he was no sailor. And in Venezuela, he met some former Finnish soldiers who were living there too. And but he didn't want to stay there. He wanted to go to the United States. He got letters from the leader of the group of Finnish officers who were in America, said that, okay, we're in Kansas, we're paid well. They want more Finnish soldiers here, Finnish officers. So he wrote his fiancée that, okay, he's going to the United States. So he took a job in a Norwegian boat. He was supposed to work there for a couple of months. But when the boat got to the Gulf of Mexico, outside the town of Mobile, in the middle of night, he jumped over and swam to the shore.
Okay.
There were some sharks in the Gulf that time, but I don't know, they didn't bother him.
I mean, maybe if they knew who he was, they probably weren't willing to start a fight with him.
Yeah. They would have lost their teeth or something like that. Mm.
All right. So does he, when he gets into the U.S., does he immediately try to join the army?
Yes, but he didn't realize that he was an illegal in the country. So he had to wait for a while until in the Congress they made a law called Lex Törni saying that he is in the country legally. So that's when he was able to join the army.
Specifically for him?
Yes.
Okay. How did he get the pull to do that?
Well, he got a lot of help with the other Finns who were there, and there were American ex-soldiers who helped him too. So he needed a political help there. He couldn't have done it alone. But you got to remember there were other Finns already in the U.S. Army, and they were teaching their winter warfare, and they built the first ahkio that the U.S. Army had. Ahkio is a kind of a sledge that you can ski and pull it and have your machine gun there, or the wounded people or something like that.
Okay.
So they wanted more Finnish there, and that's how he got it.
And it doesn't hurt that he had a Mannerheim Cross. He's not some random Finnish private showing up.
No,
he's a bona fide war hero already.
No, it didn't hurt at all.
Okay. So when does he end up being able to join the army?
I recall that was 1954, and he was a rookie there, but a very old rookie.
So he joins as a private.
Yes. But he was in a very good condition. He could do all the stuff the younger men did.
So he was born in 1919. He joined in 54. That would have made him 35 years old as a private.
Yeah, and the other guys, they were like 20, 25 maybe. But he was in very good condition, so he could do all the things the other guys did and more. So there was no problems with that.
Okay. And so somehow he ends up in U.S. Special Forces. What was his path from being a buck private in boot camp?
Well, there's one story that Thorne himself has told to his comrades in arms, and they were not sure if he was joking or not, but he didn't speak that good English that time. And once they were asking that who wants to take English, he thought that they were asked who wants to take English classes, and he raised his hand. But they were asking who's wanna take the parachute training. So he volunteered. So I don't know if that's a joke or not. That's what Thorne told. But later in Germany, when he was transferred there, the special forces were there, and there was some Finnish soldiers in the special forces that time too. There was an incident that Thorne was with his German girlfriend in a guest house, in a bar, and there were some Germans who were insulting the girlfriend. And it was a fight. Oh, okay, some people say they were...
Soldier in a bar with his girlfriend gets into a fight.
That's very rare, isn't it?
How would that happen?
Yeah, and we got to remember that in Viborg, Törni knew Sten Suvio, who is the Olympic gold medalist from 1936 Berlin in boxing, and he had taught Törni how to box. So it doesn't matter if there were 6 Germans or 8 Germans. Couple of them lost their conscience, couple got away. When the police came, they wanted to arrest Törni, and the Germans said that this crazy American attacked us. But then the landlord said, no, these Germans attacked this gentleman. And they found out these Germans, they had a criminal record, they wanted to award Thorne. And then the Finns said that to the special forces commanders that, hey, I think you need a person like this in special forces, and he was signed.
Okay. And so I believe that was 10th Special Forces Group in Germany at the time. And does he, what goes on in Germany? I know there's a very famous incident that really makes his name on the Iranian border. How long is he in Special Forces before that happens?
He was there for a couple of years. He was taking different kind of courses. He was teaching mountain climbing. He did parachute jumping. He was an excellent skier, even downhill skier. So he took courses in the Italian army mountaineers. Not many people did that time.
Okay.
And he was driving a white Alfa Romeo sports car. And he even took that car to Finland too. And there are some stories.
Huh.
Because when he was in the United States, he forgot to write to Maria, the girl in Sweden who was waiting for him.
I was going to ask when you said his German girlfriend.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Yeah. He forgot to write to Maria, but now he had a good job. He was an American officer. He had a nice car, so he went to Stockholm and asked if Maria was there. Well, Maria got tired of waiting of this guy who never wrote back, or that only a couple of times, and she got married to a Spanish doctor and was in Spain. So Thorne asked the neighbor, why don't you give me the address? I have made some successful operations before. And but the neighbor said, who do you think you are? And didn't give the address to him. But that's true about the Iranian thing. There was an American airplane who crashed at the Chagros Mountains.
Okay.
And Iran was then governed by Shah. It was not the state it is nowadays. So it was a friendly country to the United States. So first the crew was lost. They didn't hear anything about them, the American crew. So first the Iranian climbers tried to get there, couldn't get there. Then the Germans, mountain climbers, tried to do it. They failed. So they sent there Larry Thorne and Captain Herbert Chandler, and they got there, found the plane, find the bodies of the plane crew, blasted the plane because they didn't want to leave any equipment there and stuff like that.
There's some secret information.
Yes, and that's how his reputation got higher, and he was called the legend.
Okay.
Frankly, that's a true story that people were starting to talk about the legend, that these other groups tried to do it, they couldn't do it, send Larry Thorne.
Okay.
He succeeded.
So we mentioned this in the first part of this video, but Larry Thorne he essentially Americanized his name.
Yes.
because it had some umlauts and it was probably a little difficult for a lot of Americans to pronounce. So that's when he becomes Larry Thorne.
Yes.
Although you said he pronounced it more like Thorny. Thorny?
Yes, he pronounced it Larry Thorny,
Okay.
like Thorne, I-E,
Okay.
with the ending. So, but it's perfectly fine to say Thorne because most people understand it that way.
Okay. So this incident really solidifies his reputation now in the American army. Obviously, it was already been long solidified in the Finnish army.
Yes.
When does he end up in Vietnam?
He went to Vietnam in 1963 the first time. He was there training people there. And in that time, he got even more famous because a writer called Robbie Moore came to Vietnam. Robbie Moore asked the military that can he get to Vietnam and talk to the soldiers, and he would write a book about it, and that's the Green Berets. And they said, oh yeah, you can go there, but you got to go through the same training. And he did. He did parachute jumping and stuff like that. So thought that it's really cool that he did it. So they got good friends. So Robbie Moore spent time with Larry Thorne and his group in Vietnam. And there's even a picture of the group that Robbie Moore writes about it. And I met one of these guys who were there, James Whitener. And some people think that the Green Berets, it's a fiction. But the first chapter that is about Larry Thorne and his group, that's true story.
Okay.
They changed the names, and he did take some liberties, like he's telling that these people were blonde, Viking-looking guys, every one of them, where they were not. They were somewhere dark, and somewhere black, and somewhere short, somewhere tall. And that's the only liberty that Moore took. But all the things that happened there happened really.
Okay, nice. And how long is it? So, spoiler, he dies in Vietnam. How long is he in Vietnam before that happens, and what was he doing in Vietnam?
Well, he came back and did the second tour in Vietnam. And then in the second tour, he was doing different kinds of missions with special operations. And that's in 1965. They were trying to track the Ho Chi Minh Trail that was going in Laos, in the Laotian side. In Laos, there shouldn't have been any Viet Cong guerrillas, no North Vietnamese troops, not Americans. So there was a secret operation called Shining Brass. And that's where happened the thing, and Larry Thorne was lost for almost 35 years.
Okay. So, yeah, what was that last mission?
Well, they had two choppers there. In the first one, there was Sergeant Charles Petrie, and with a small group, and they landed in the Laotian side, and Thorne was in the other chapter with two pilots and a door gunner for safety reason. If something happens with the first helicopter, they could recover the group and bring them back.
Okay.
So they managed to drop the first group into the jungle, and they all got back. But it was late at night. That was 18th of October, 1965. It was after 6 p.m. It was rainy, cloudy, foggy. It was very dark. In that time, the chopper pilots didn't fly with the meters. They had to do it visually, and they couldn't see hardly anything. So the other chopper landed and waited for the weather to be cleared, and Thorne's chopper tried to get back to the base, Kamduk, but they missed it.
Okay.
They flew too much south. They followed the river, and then when they turned back, they missed the top of the mountains by approximately 20 meters. If they had gone a little bit higher, they would have made it, but they crashed in the top of the mountain.
Okay. And at that point, he's listed as missing in action.
Yes.
And was there ever an attempt to find the chopper at that point?
Yes, they did a lot of flights there and tried to search it, flying with small planes. First they thought that, okay, he's going to come out alive. Then they thought, okay, they didn't get him alive. There were all kind of wild rumors spreading around. Somebody said that, oh, maybe he joined the North Vietnamese army. And there's one lady said that, I saw Larry Thorne in Bangkok at the swimming pool. And one guy said, oh, I met him in Lapland. He was in rehab there. So they were really wild stories there. But nobody knew what happened. He disappeared.
Okay. And when you wrote your first two books, that was the end of the story, right? His helicopter went down and nobody knew anything else. Now, spoiler again, there was a mission that went out and located and recovered his remains. How did that come about?
Yes, first, when I started my first books, I thought I'm going to write two books with my friend, Larry Thorne in the Finnish army, Larry Thorne in the US army. But then United States, the Joint Task Force is trying to bring back all the lost soldiers, even from the First or Second World War, from Normandy and Vietnam, find them and bring them back to home.
Okay.
So they had some people visiting Vietnamese villages, and there was one old hunter said that sometime in the late 1960s there was a crash at the top of the mountain. He had the time wrong, but definitely something had happened there. So they went there, checked, and said, okay, something has crashed there. At that time there were three possibilities: a couple of jets and this helicopter. And there's a central laboratory in Hawaii where they do the DNA tests and stuff like that, and they ask the Thorne's sisters to give their DNA there. And we heard about it, and okay, if we started to write a story, we gotta be there when they're solving the mystery. So I flew to Hawaii, had a meeting there with these officers from Army, Navy, Marines, and said that this is a really important Finnish war hero. It's important there are Finnish people with the group when you're trying to look for Mr. Thorne. And the guys were thinking about it a while and then looked to each other and said, okay, there's 5 Finns.
Okay.
Our doctor gives you instructions, take these vaccinations.
All right. And so you set off this is 1999?
1999 in July.
Okay.
Joint Task Force went there.
So this older Vietnamese guy says there was a crash on that mountain, and you guys go to the mountain, and sure enough, there's evidence of a helicopter crash there?
Well, yes, there were these 5 Finns, around 20 Americans, and we had about 50 Vietnamese people who were helping out with the excavation. There was indication that there's something has crashed there. So it was a steep hill. So what was done by the specialists, we're not specialists, they made squares with ropes, and we have to shovel the dirt from that square and put it in a bucket, and then they were sifted to check if this piece was rock, metal, bone, whatever.
Okay, so this was a proper archaeological, basically archaeological dig.
Yes, and I'm not an anthropologist, so what we thought that we think we could help do the dirty job. So we did shovel all the dirt to buckets, so everything went through our hands. But that was our expertise.
Okay.
And they were happy about it because it was humid and hot there.
I can only imagine Vietnam in the middle of the summer.
Mm.
And so what did you find?
Well, the biggest thing there was the engine of the helicopter was there, the star engine, which is about this size. It was there. It should be still there. It's so heavy nobody can carry it out. We had found many pieces of the helicopter. We had a piece where these identification marks saying that when it was manufactured, when it was repaired. What we found the Swedish K and glass, bullets, of course, little pieces of bones. There were a couple of hundred pieces of bones, but they were so small, it was not a skeleton. You could put them in a big box or something like that. I think they came to Hawaii in a coffin, but you couldn't separate them. There were two pilots, dog and Thorne. You couldn't separate them.
Okay.
But in Hawaii, they could get the DNA to make sure that the two pilots were there.
Okay.
And the dog owner had forgotten his dog tag. He was not supposed to have anything because the Americans were not supposed to be in Laos, nor the South Vietnamese who helped them. And that's why there was a Swedish gun.
Right.
And nothing would indicate that there are Americans involved.
Right.
But with Thorne, they found a artificial tooth crown that was made to replace a tooth that was missing with Thorne. And they found some tooth that the anthropologist Dennis Danielson, who was leading that side, said that these are European.
Okay.
I don't know how he did that, but he was very convicting.
The magic of modern forensic science.
Yes.
So, and you brought home his Swedish K.
Oh yes, there was a lot of stuff, and we asked the Americans, so what's going to happen with all this stuff when this thing is done? Because we were ready. We had searched everything. I said, oh, we're going to bury them. So I asked, okay, how about if we take some of them to Finland? And I said, yeah, go ahead. Huh. So we emptied our backpacks, and that Swedish K ended up in mine. I started to think about, it's a gun. It's a rusty. It's more dangerous if you hit with it, but it's a gun, and I have to go through customs. So what would happen? I thought, okay, if somebody stops me, I speak awfully bad English.
No speaking the English.
No, and at the Helsinki airport, I saw my backpack. It was striped with colorful plastic tape everywhere, so somebody had touched it, and I opened it, and it was there.
Nice. It's clearly not a danger to anybody now unless they drop it on their foot.
Yes.
But and you said you had a friend in the Finnish police who actually was able to clean off and restore, uncover the serial number here.
Oh yes.
And traced it.
Yes, yes. There was a person in Finnish Central Criminal Police who was interested in war history and said, okay, we can try if we can track this down. And so they did clean it up, the rust, and they got the serial number, and they found out that from Sweden it was transferred to a CIA convert company, and that's how it got to Vietnam.
Yep, and that's exactly how those were done. This was,
and in Vietnam, you can see in the last picture taken of Thorne, 3 days prior his disappearance, he's walking there, and he's got Springfield 1901 on the other shoulder.
03.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. You're the expert. I'm not. And the armpit, he's got a Swedish K.
Okay. These were very popular guns with U.S. Special Forces because they were sort of deniable. And yeah, Swedish Ks were. That's exactly how we got them. They were purchased by CIA front companies for various covert uses. But yeah, used extensively by Special Forces guys in Vietnam. So this is exactly the gun that you would have expected. I mean, you would have expected it, but then you said you also have a picture of him, as you can see, with his Swedish K. And to me, like the last piece of evidence necessary is there were only 4 guys on this helicopter, and only one of them would have had a gun like this at all.
Yes.
The door gunner would have had his M60. The pilots would have had some survival weapons, but that was it. And here's Thorne's Swedish K. Honestly, when I was talking to you about doing this video, I hadn't seen pictures, and that gun is in better condition than I expected it to be. Having spent 35 years in the Vietnamese jungle in a
helicopter, burned and exploded, and it's still you can recognize it.
That is a fantastic, amazing piece of history right there.
I remember when we were in the jungle, and the U.S. ambassador and the Finnish ambassador came to see us, and they had a special forces officer with them, Michael Island, And there were some guys who didn't know exactly is this Swedish K or not. When Island came, they said, "Oh hell, that's a Swedish K. It was quite clumsy, but made a hell of a noise."
That's some sort of endorsement.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing all of this with us. This is a fantastically interesting person. I think there are obviously legends about him, but it's nice to be able to share some of the true story.
Yes, that's what my book is about. I'm trying to track all the wild stories and check if they're true or not.
And it's a heck of a book, too. There's a lot written here. And I broke his gun again. It's in 2 pieces, by the way.
You can't broke it more than it is.
Unfortunately for me, this is written in Finnish. So if you read Finnish, there is your primary excellent reference on Lauri Törni. Is there a reference you would recommend for Americans who don't read Finnish?
Yeah, I would recommend a friend of mine, J. Michael Cleverley, who was a diplomat in Finland the time we went to Vietnam. He invited us to sauna in his place. So he wrote a English book, Born a Soldier.
Born a Soldier.
And
okay.
That's an older book, but it's still pretty accurate. So I would recommend read that first if you want some information.
Okay. Well, I will include a link to that book as well as a link to this book, so you can check it out if that's something you can read. Thank you very much for joining us, sharing all this, and giving us the opportunity to see an incredible piece of history like that Swedish K.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.